Welcome to the Heavenly Tea. I am discussing children and their future. What will learning and education be like? And what do we need to do to bring the structures of education and learning to that place that children have what they should truly be given? Now, to find out what they should truly be given, we've got some extraordinary people. Oksana Buchanan. Now, she is specialized as, you can call her a telepath. It feels like an inadequate word for her. She is a remote ruler. She can zoom off into the cosmos and gather information about you, your spirit, your soul, your journey, where you've been, where you are, whether you've got all of your soul energy available to you. Yeah, where it might be, and free it, because the way she has learned this is massively from her own inner structure and intuition, her ancient knowledge she's brought through, but also she's been trained, and you may hear her talking about various people she has trained with in order to do this soul work, extraordinary work. Now I have worked with her and I love her. She has worked with James Rink, who you might also have heard now. He is known for his Super Solar Talk. That is his channel on YouTube. And he goes around mostly in the States, but sometimes to the UK and other places, and talks about this phenomenon. What is a super solar? Well, there is a secret space program that we are starting. I think some of us, a lot of us, are starting to find out these other strange realities, parallel realities, it seems, going on beneath our very feet. Most people are completely unaware of what a super soldier is, what a secret space program is, but James has been in that big time. And if you go to his channel, you will start to unravel some of the extraordinary universes involved in this, literally. He and Oksana have worked together a lot in memory retrieval. Well, she is brilliant in that. And they've worked each other and found that they've known each other in these super soldier programs of the secret space program, because very often souls were entrapped into these systems. I'm talking more about the etheric level of the soul rather than this three-dimensional one, but in different realities, it's very much three-dimensional. Much information there. We are going to be talking with them. Now, I must give up and let in James, and we will have more introduction in a moment. Hello, James. Very timely.
Hello.
Hello. I was just doing a little tiny introduction, telling people what you are. No, the soldier, the secret space program. Tiny little potted introduction. James and Oksana, hi. Oksana, you look so blonde. In the sun.
Oh, thanks. Well, the sun, bleaches your hair.
Well, I've got your colors on tonight, sort of swimming. I felt like water.
Yeah.
So it's really lovely. You've decided to come and say hello to this person you don't know, James. But you might have fun, I hope. That's most of my modus operandi. And today, what I want to really talk about, the future for children in learning and education, but what you guys remember from your times, let's say in other dimensional varieties, off planet, these different ways of recalling skills, of getting information, of healing yourself, of accessing basically Akashic records, Akashic fields, knowledge, information, programs. These are the sort of things that you keep digging up and uncovering. It's the sort of way that I've trained myself to work too. If I need some information, I'll go into a library or a bookstore and I walk towards the book. That's how I work. Or if I don't know how to do something, I'll say, okay, I will get the information and I'll give it a time limit, and boom, it comes into my head. That's the sort of information highway that I know you two have been plugged into. And because of the remote viewing, telepathy, the way I work with children is using improvisation, using their channeling through their voice, singing, creating songs in the moment, writing, drawing, even dance, to allow their information to come through. And this is what I want to talk about with learning in the future, that it will be from the inside out rather than what we have been used to. You go to school and it's plonked into your mind and you've got to write 2,000 exams and get it right. If you like your event, it'd be really nice if you would talk about your event coming up.
My event.
Yeah.
Isabel?
Well,
Okay.
Oksana's in there too, come on.
Yeah. Sure. Just let me know when. Do you need my bio?
Well, no, I know who you are from a distance. I've been
Okay.
watching you.
Good. Because yeah, it's on supersoldiertalk.com if you want it.
Yeah, I always put all the links. So I've already put links through, but I will put links with your photograph and your website and your YouTube channel. Same for Oksana. Firstly, I want to welcome you to this format. It's called the Heavenly Tea because for me, we have the most profound discussions over a cup of tea or coffee, whatever you want. I'm drinking herbal tea tonight. But I like to talk about very unusual things because I'm a visionary and I'm bringing forth new ideas because that's the only thing that gets me and keeps me thrilled and excited. And you, of course, the two of you, Oksana Buchanan, James Rink, you are the people who kind of swim through the unusual probably every day of your life. And it's been quite an interesting journey since you remembered those experiences. And what I've asked you here today is to talk about how we actually use that, the information that you have gathered back of where you were in these secret space programs, the super soldier system and its many complexities, and how we can use that in the future for giving our children a true, fuller human experience where they actually get to be who they are. So, James, I would really like you, before we really begin, can you bring up your event that I know you and Oksana are doing in July? Because I'd love that I'll put it at the end as well for people, but I'd love them to see where they can come and see the two of you working live, doing your thing.
Absolutely. Can I share my screen?
Yeah, let's see if I can do that. I always forget how to do that.
Sorry for all the red color. I was trying to fix them. I took my camera up to the
You got a nice white shirt and a blue light behind. It's fine. Okay, multiple participants can share simultaneously. That will do. I think you can share now. Do you want to try?
Okay. Here it comes. I got it. See if I'm sorry for that noise outside.
I can't hear that either. You've got a clever microphone.
The lawnmower people suddenly wanted to show up, but Super Soldier Talks Timeline of Disclosure Conference and Soul Healing Fair. So that the conference is July 11th and 12th at the Holiday Inn, Harborside. Let's see if I got a artwork of the Harborside somewhere on here. But I don't, it's somewhere on this website. So we're gonna start off with a panel Thursday night, and then Oksana, we're gonna be there. We have about 8 people part of this fair, conference and fair. But the next day, Friday, we'll have breakout rooms, and then we can let's see if I can get the schedule down here. I bet that would work. Our schedule, if that's still too small, I can try to make it bigger.
Of course, people can just follow this link. We'll put the link in.
Absolutely. So we got breakout rooms. I give everybody about an hour and a half or 90 minutes to talk. Let's see here. Oksana, there you are. 1 to 2. The Cal. So you're gonna do SSP channel message, and then we have to vacate space at 4. We'll probably do something fun that afternoon. We'll see. I'm talking to our groups.
You have to go swimming if you're with Oksana, won't you?
And then after that, Saturday we have a soul healing fair. So that's I booked the park across the street from the Holiday Inn, and I got the permits and all that. Took care of all that. Yes, it is July and it is Florida, but we are 650 feet from the ocean, so you can go back and forth. And for vendors, if you want to be a vendor, we have an air conditioned tent option too for a little extra money. But so come on out. We're looking for people who can do like readings, intuitives, and we do have a sliding scale. Just send me a message, and especially if you can do like healing work, we can work with you. But if you just want to have your vendor booth. I'm also going to have some free dance classes, Latin dance class, a yoga class. Probably it's going to be was it Roomba? I think it's called Roomba.
Yeah.
Or Zumba, maybe. Was it
Zumba, that's it,
Zumba or
Zumba.
Zumba? Yeah.
So Zumba probably um for the but for Latin dance expression. And so we got some music. So that's going to be near the gazebo. Uh I want to have our speakers inside a tent, the air conditioned tent. So we'll have like chairs set up, but that's the Saturday is free. Now we do have it, like I said, the VIP is extra. So we'll probably have something set up where if you have the VIP ticket, you can have a place to sit. We might have some chairs put down for you, but we're asking you to bring your chairs
Oops, frozen.
for Saturday.
I like it the way you say please bring swimsuit. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
This
Yeah.
is like a dream festival. You know, people like us, we can't go to normal festivals anymore because we know that all the musicians are compromised. And now we are looking for this other kind of beautiful celebration of being together with I want to say intelligence, maybe I just mean awareness. And this looks like a dream event. Sadly, it's probably too far away for me to hop over the ocean for, but
Well,
yeah.
we do have a live stream option. There it is, a suggested donation of $50. So here's our VIP pass. I do have like food options. So the speakers, you can join us with the speakers if you want to have some meals that Friday morning.
And so people are going to really hear about your experience and various other people who have had all of these extraordinary adventures beyond the body, beyond the normal way we live.
We got Dylan, the Deep State Maps. Thank you, Dylan, for encouraging me to do this. For those of you who don't know, it was kind of like a rocky beginning because I wanted to create a disclosure event for the Secret Space Program community that would have been inclusive to all people, but a portion of the group got together and did their own thing without me. So, but this one is approved by Super Soldier Talk, and thank you, Dylan, for encouraging me. Raw Cloud is
incredible work, isn't he, Dylan? His maps have
the cube
probably
maps.
changed many minds when they've seen the connections.
Raw Cloud worked for the U.S. Navy Alliance as a super soldier off-world, and he's going to be sharing some of his downloads. Linda Paris from McAllister TV. Again, that's I believe that's on Rumble and probably BitChute. Maybe that's where our larger audience is. So she was a former CNN news reporter, but she became aware of like pedophilia in Hollywood, and so she's been exposing it. We also have Thomas Alvin. He was served in the Dark Fleet as a military intelligence officer. And
yes, I've seen his interviews. You've had him several times, haven't you, on your channel?
Yeah, and we're gonna probably do one tomorrow. We'll see.
Oh.
So our dolphin communicator is Lauren. So she is a channeler, and she might be also sharing some of her secret space program experiences. And of course, so we have Oksana Buchanan. Maybe Oksana probably better suited. Explain what you want it. Can you give a little brief sentence of what you're gonna do, Oksana?
Yeah, well, I'm gonna be talking about my first life here and involvement in SSP and what I remember from childhood, how I was taken every night and how I was scared of those night visitors, and later on how I woke up and remembered everything through sessions, through flashbacks, and also talking about how important it is at this time to get rid of all the contracts, like even SSP ones, because if you are really want to make a shift to a different reality, I feel like that's personal choice, of course, but I feel like we've been used. I mean, in SSP, all I see is the stronger souls, the souls with the biggest experiences are being grabbed and used for the programs. And what I do with my sessions is I see how a soul in that human body of a client came to this layer that we call Earth, and whether what kind of handlers in their etheric that person has, what kind of physical or etheric energetic implants they have, whether that person has clones, hybrids, whether they've been whether they've had their DNA taken for those hybridization programs. Also, we check on etheric and physical DNA. We can change that back to normal, and destroy all the contracts and basically cut ourselves of all the handlers and all these entities attached to us, so we can be free without any attachments and completely plan and create our life the way we want it to be, not the way our handlers or alien groups attached to us want us to be and do. So it's just complete cleansing, plus the emotional mental bodies have to be cleansed, because what they do is they create trauma through you going through programs, especially when you're a child, and then they re-traumatize you by sending you different situations and people in your life to create more trauma based on the trauma you already have, and that need to be cleansed also.
So the byline of this channel is activating human potential, because of course that's what we're starting to understand. And to me, it's like the metaphor of electricity. We can still rarely see it, but we use it every day. And these soul technologies and reintegration of all of our soul parts, our full energy, this is now the new science, but we're still way out there in the boonies for most people to even gather. So it's about building bridges all the time. I want to bring an example that I had last week in my work, because I work with children aged 3 to 13. And I work through the performing arts. I've disguised what I do as a drama teacher, a singing teacher, and a dance teacher for quite a long time. So with my little ones, this girl was 4, and I have been watching her for the last term. Every hour session she has with me each week, she puts herself in a cage. She puts herself in a cage, which is locked. She has very little to eat or drink in there. She puts herself in there every time. She makes herself the servant of everybody. And when you get a repeat pattern like that, again and again and again, and there was another little girl I worked with last year, the same, you start to see how these things were just written off as fantasy, just in the same way that before we could use and harness electricity, it was like, what are you talking about? Burn the gas lamp and light the candle. We know that that has substance and that is real, and that is probably not happening necessarily now, because this same little girl drew me a picture of a very happy child, lots of hearts and birds and trees, you know, floral nature connection. That's beautiful. Probably it's a parallel or a past memory. But I see that in my work with children, because they trust me and they are coming through to present what is disturbing them. You don't bring a story like that into a session unless something has to be done by it. The way I teach learning is resonance learning. The soul says, hey, I've got this interest, this point of focus, this information access point to my soul I've got to get to. Can you help me? And our role as the adults is to facilitate this. Now, can you take yourselves back to those times where you opened doors to new information and you were kind of shocked, stunned? What do I do with this? James, do you want to go first to sort of take one of those moments so we can start to recognize the role that this really is in our lives?
So what's the question?
So can you take yourself to a moment where your mind opened up and let you see something that was very strange to you, and you suddenly realized, wow, that did happen?
Okay. Back in 2004, I was on these Christian teens chat room, and this kid contacted me and told me he had violent issues, and I mean, I felt bad for him, but you know, not much I could do. About 8 months later, he contacts me again, and I forgot who this person was, but he told me he nearly got thrown in juvie, and that he has superhuman strength, and he could also do telekinesis and see spirits, entities. And he was telling me the story how he had his parents bought a new home. He had to move away from the old school because they got kicked out. And he's at this new school, and at this house, they got a good deal on it because the former owners, there was a murder-suicide kind of thing where the the parents were away, but the teenage son murdered the caregiver at the time, and then he suicided himself. And so Nathan was describing how he was hearing like howling outside his window and listening to Christian music. So I told him, well, I was asking him about his abilities, and from a Christian perspective, I thought he was perhaps possessed. But then I realized that he was telling me that he was part of the secret projects and taken to military bases and tested, and he would only sleep 30 minutes a night and do missions for what he described as a Dr. Gray, but I believe it was actually the Grays. And I talked to his subconscious, and I told him to use his abilities to protect himself. And then 2 weeks later, he contacts me again and says that he's in a white room, white place, and they're deleting all memories of you, James. I said, we'll just keep trying to fight. So a month later, he contacts me again and tells me that he destroyed it's like the Gray's monetary system, 2,800 worlds. He said he activated my DNA and I could do everything that he could do. And let's see here. There's some other things too. It's in my book. But let's go fast forward here. Another 2 months go by. I don't hear from him. He contacts me again, and that's when he tells me he destroyed the 2,800 worlds and so on. But he said that he was Lucifer, and that my higher self was one of the Supremes, one of the most powerful beings in the universe, and that in our past lives we were fighting. We would kill each other and then be reborn. So I said, well, I don't want to do that anymore. And so let's see here. I think, yeah, it was right around that time. In my kitchen, I saw this green colored orb moving around. I heard papers moving, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to slam the door and I deal with that. But the next morning I woke up, I had 3 claw marks down the side of my shoulder. And then I also got like a scoop mark on my ear. I had a little rod-shaped object embedded behind my fingernail. It was like a scoop mark there. And then I started getting like triangle-shaped scabs and laser marks and all that. I was like, well, Nathan, what's going on? And he said something like they were using a mind control gun on me. But the last message I got from him, he said that he was bleeding and that he was holding a power cord plugged into the wall and telecommunicating to me through the internet that way, and that soon he won't exist anymore.
So can I just pause you for a moment, James?
Yes.
Did you find that your quiet, wise self was just soothing him for a while, but was your mind going, this is nuts, this is crazy, this guy's on the moon? Did you think like that and you were just lovingly compassionate? Were you finding as he was speaking that things were starting to come through more and more and more in your memory?
Well, I knew I was involved in these projects. I thought it was the Greys. So I knew I was being abducted. There's more to it and all that. But I did reach out to Sani Sito. She claims that she was a Grey in her past life, one of the ones that died at Roswell craft. But she tells me that the Greys were not involved. It was actually the Draco have their own mind control programs, and that's Nathan was a super soldier created by their projects, and that he is under a strong mind control program. But it was later on that I realized that I was also on that Draco ship, even though the bloodline I'm connected more.
Can I just pause you for a moment? James, just some of my audience don't probably know you. Not that I've got a huge audience, but this is probably going to spread more. So they're hearing these fantastical stories. I'm just trying to get a bridge, because there was some place in your life where you weren't aware of this. Is that true? You had dreams and intuitions,
absolutely,
and little feelings. Okay,
yes.
Right. And so here we are with your friend with these extraordinary tales. So what was happening in you? Was it clarifying? Because I asked this because I'm positive, just from the little example I gave you, those two children. Okay, there's just two children in a school of less than 200 children. Okay, upper middle class children, but so what? You know, many, many, many more people are going to find these memories bleeding through. And so if we can find, you know, some kind of bridging so that people realize I am not going nuts. This is my intuition speaking to me. I need to find out. I need to calm down. I need to ask. So that's why this is really valuable for people, because they will be parents listening to their children, telling them of scary things going on at night, or my granddaughter talking about the scary owls, you know, and I was telling her, you just have to tell them to go away. It happens to so many. So we are the ones that are going to kind of, I don't know, bring the information through. So how did you find you did that?
How I I was involved in these projects.
No, how did you handle it in your mind, going from
Oh,
normal James Rink to, oh my God, this is what I
okay.
did?
Okay. Yes. So, after Nathan told me that, about 3 weeks later, I was having this paralysis where I couldn't move, and I was taken to the hospital, and they couldn't figure out what was wrong with me, so they diagnosed me as with psychosis. So, it is my belief that my alter was coming out, and I wanted to um, go out and try to rescue Nathan. Um, but yeah, from there, I did locate Nathan about 2 years later. He was posting poems about killing women on a poetry website, and I asked him, "So Nathan, why are you doing that? Where have you been?" And his girlfriend contacts me and says Nathan doesn't know who you are. So I sent her about 150 pages of transcripts, and then she comes back with me and says that he made it all up. So I said, "Okay, well, tell Nathan to contact me that he made it all up." So Nathan writes me under the name of Gray, this Gray Wilder person, and saying that there's no evidence in any government logs of telekinesis or aliens ever existing and that we're watching you. And so I wrote the girlfriend back. So why did he write that as this Gray? Who's this Gray? Why didn't he write it as Nathan? And one of the last messages I got from her is that she found bottles of embryos labeled Nathan Wilder, and she also said that she was finding glass shards in her back when she would wake up, and he wouldn't be in the house. So I think she was actually taken aboard a Draco ship, and where she saw the bottles. At least that's what Sonny Cito claims. So after that point, I decided that I just need to stay away from this guy. And but from there, I was still getting injection marks, needle marks, and I wanted to get answers. And that's when, through regression and
So let's just hone in
yes,
on that for a moment, because that's
yes.
kind of connecting you to Oksana as well, so we can sort of move through that. So your curiosity must have been kind of going in overdrive, and that weird unease of like, I know, do I know? I don't know, I do know, I don't know, do I? Did you have that? Is this, yes? Was that kind of passing through your mind
Well,
every
I
day?
knew I was involved in these projects. The question was who was at fault. Like I said, I thought it was just the Greys, but then I realized that it was actually human personnel.
Okay, but you believed it. You started to realize this is real. Yeah?
Yes.
What I'm looking for just for people to hear this is, how do I trust that this is just not being insane or an active imagination, right?
Well,
If
I
if
have
you're a parent listening to these stories from your child, you know, we just said, oh darling, go back to sleep, it's imagination, you know, say a prayer, whatever. Yeah. But here we are. I've gone through something, not like, I didn't go, thank God, in the secret space program. I avoided that one. I just do other weird things where I have to really trust my intuition very much in an abnormal manner, shall we say. And I understand how that can literally almost break your mind. You have to hold on very clearly. And to make the transition to fully know it and say, yeah, this happened. And now I'm going to take it seriously, and I'm going to research it, and I'm going to open up the whole thing, which is what Oksana does so brilliantly. And I know the two of you have done a lot of work together. This is now, you know, the thrilling bit. So at some point it went click and you said yes.
okay. I will show you instead of telling you. All right, so this was a mind control gun, according to Nathan. The triangle on my leg there. I get these marks like this. I get no needle marks on my lip. This was a needle mark underneath my fingernail. I was actually in the bathroom at the local community college, and when I was washing my hands, I noticed that. So they either got me in the bathroom or my class. And the perspective. So they would put needles underneath your fingernails and run electric current through it to split off altars. Some more double prong needle marks, little scars. Get marks like this. They're taking tissue samples from my clones. Little tissue sample inside my gums. More marks. More. Yeah, and we'll get bruises and more. More
Okay, I'm
tissue
going to stop the
samples.
images because I may have some children
So
watching.
here's a triangle-shaped scab.
James, we're going to
Yes.
stop the images just for now because sometimes children listen to this and some of that is kind of a bit scary. What I'm trying to find from you is that this is the physical
inner
stuff
knowledge.
going on in your body. Yeah, when did your mind fully? You don't need to prove anything to me. I know, I can feel the resonance of your truth. Okay,
Yes.
yeah, and I trust Oksana 100%. Sorry, I do, Oksana. Maybe 99.9% because that's unfair on someone. But the point is that at some point you owned it and you knew it, and therefore you started to be, the teacher of it and the examiner of it, and to find out what was going on with you. And this is really, really important. So that moment where you said, yeah, right, I'm going to start my channel. I'm going to find other people like that. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Okay. Well, I was going to local MUFON groups. So back in the, I guess after like 2005, this community was primarily consisted of just people that UFO experiencers. So my understanding that from that community, it was a belief that these aliens were coming from far away and abducting humans and using them in genetic experiments to create a hybrid race. So that's what we're told. However, what the narrative actually shows, it's a lot more complex. That is happening, yes, but it appears a majority of the abductions are taking place by people, humans involved in the secret space program, who are utilizing us as tissue samples as slaves off world. So for me, I was used as a super soldier off world. Yeah, like so. For example, that triangular shaped scab. In February of 2007, on Valentine's Day, it was a heart. So this is not spiders or cats. I don't have a cat. Something is coming into my house, taking tissue samples and utilizing in these projects. And so Oksana was able to help me on that. And I have a bunch of other people that I've interviewed over the years and other experiencers like myself. So I started my channel in 2010 when I realized we were not getting the help that we needed from the UFO alien community. So that's why I did what I did.
So, Oksana, I want you to think about answering this as well, because this is where this experience, James, that you started to piece back together, wasn't it? You and Oksana working together with questions and quests, going in and having a look at moments in time and situations. You started to see and experience things that a normal human being couldn't do. These extra perceptions, this extra strength of your friend Nathan, the ability to heal from within just by a DNA activation, possibly even bilocation I've heard you speak about. Lots of different abilities that would be classified in the ESP section of the library, which, I am very keen to show that us human, we are so much more complex that we have been dumbed down to be, completely shut down. Like we're one color of the rainbow and we should be at least 12, as Oksana talks about so eloquently too. So can you talk, the two of you, can you kind of throw back and forth a little bit about the things you discovered that were these extra human, well, our true human states of being, abilities?
Yeah, well, the thing is, in my life, it's when I lost my mother when I was 21, my brother was 10. I started seeing her soul, and a bird would come to our balcony every day and sit on this. That's a tradition in Ukraine. You put a glass with water and the bread on top when somebody died. And the bird would sit on the bread and start talking to me in my mother's voice in my head. So it's like basically in my life, every time something tragic happens or some major events that emotionally touch you deeply, that's when I get like extra boost to release my abilities to open up more. And I started seeing her soul floating around me when I was sitting crying in the middle of the room. And she started telling me, I'm totally fine. That was just supposed to be that way. I'm totally free now, but I'm gonna be with your future daughter. And then I had a daughter, despite everybody telling me, "Oh no, Buchanan family we only have boys." But yeah, I had my daughter after first son, and I named her after my mother, Marina. And when she was 2.5, she was sitting at the dinner table eating soup, and she used to draw she was an amazing artist since she was 2. She was drawing, I was told, as a 5-year-old at the age of 2. And she started drawing like a layer, and she said on that layer there was a big house, there was a lot of children, and there was a grassy hills outside, and a lot of bunnies hopping around and other animals, but mostly bunnies that she was friends with, because in her previous life, before she was taken to that level, she had bunny friends, and but then lately we discovered she was from the elf planet, but that happened later. She said, Mama, I picked you on the screen. They showed us and they asked us, whom do you want to pick as your mother? So mothers are actually portals to their children. And so we basically, I should not take our children as our children, really, but it's just a soul who wants to come through you because you resonate with that vibrational frequency, right, of that soul who wants to be a child at that time.
Yes. Do you remember the prophet Khalil Gibran who said, your children are not your children. They are life's longing for itself. And
yes.
I was reading that thinking, oh, I like it.
Because they can change, and sometimes because when you consider them yours, it's your ego speaking, and therefore you would put obstacles on their way of development, of conveying something their soul wants them to do in their lives, because some parents want their children to be doctors, and then they would totally make the disconnection between conscious soul, physical body, and the subconscious soul happen. And that's when this person will always be fighting inside, traumatized, and always unhappy all their lives. Therefore, you should let children develop on their own, the way they want it, the way their pace is, not to push them in anything. Let them try everything they want to try and figure out for themselves what they're interested in. So and that's and when she was 9, I woke up in 2016. When Marina was 9, she had a regressive hypnosis session with Kalojiro Grifazi. I had one session with him too, and when she had a telepath, just in case she wouldn't be able to go into trance, and she snapped into trance so easily. So she released my mother, who was attached to her, because I named her Marina after my mother. And after each session, I had like disabilities happen. But then James came to me after my interview on Starseed Talk channel with Chase, and James came to me for a reason. That's when I started piecing things together, because we had a number of sessions with
James came to me for a reason. I'm going to pause us, guys. Sorry, James. Oksana thinks I'm nuts doing this, but I have I use free Zoom. Can we just dial back in again on the same?
Sure. Okay. Yeah.
You can just party for a moment, and then just come back.
Polite. No problem.
Fine.